Hey, from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, a show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
How you doing, John Trumbull? Hey.
Oh, hey, Darren. What's going on?
What's going on? Well, no new episodes of Saturday Night Live coming out anytime soon. That's what's going on.
Yeah. After we recorded our last episode, the writer strike officially happened on May the 2nd, I believe. It was last Tuesday as we're recording this.
It did. It shut shit down.
Yeah, and that was pretty much what everybody was expecting to happen, and we were kind of expecting that to happen.
Yeah, like part of me was kind of hoping maybe there'd be, like a Hail Mary last minute deal made. But from what I read on social media and all my my writer friends, everybody was pretty much like, yeah, it's happening.
It seemed to be in the air that, yeah, this was going to happen. This needed to happen. The overwhelming majority of the membership wanted it to happen. It was like 90 something percent who were voting to strike. So
yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah. And and we of course fully support the strike. We want the writers to get all their fair share of streaming, and then we want them to make a living wage and all that. And it sounds like they're striking for very good reasons, and it sounds like they're very unified in this. So
yeah, I mean, I watched a few. They actually put out, like, I've seen like a few videos about it, about basically what's going on. Like, their basic concerns are, now that streaming is a thing, they just want to get paid fairly for that. They've talked about how some studios are trying to like shorten down or making smaller writers' rooms.
Yeah, they have this thing called mini rooms, which I had not heard of before, which is like employing a smaller number of writers for a shorter period of time.
Right, exactly.
And it just sounds like a way to weasel out of paying writers any more than they absolutely have to.
Right, and also if you probably notice, if you watch a lot of streaming shows, a lot of seasons of shows, they don't have that many episodes. Like a lot of shows now have maybe 8 episodes a season, maybe 9, and like that's another way to kind of squeeze money out of the writers' pockets, because like if you have a shorter season, only 8 episodes, they don't have to be writers on your show for very long. And a lot of times,
I mean, even on some network shows, we're not seeing like full 22 episode seasons anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And like that can really mess with you as a writer, because if you're not making the hours you need to on a project, then like maybe you don't get the your health benefits fulfilled like that way, and that can really mess you up.
Yeah, and I've read a lot of good threads on Twitter from various writers, various people at the WGA who are explaining this, and just be like, this is why we're striking. This is what the problem is, and this is what, and there's also sort of the looming specter of AI.
Yeah,
where some studios are threatening, like, oh, we'll just generate our own scripts with AI that we've trained through previous scripts, and that seems so unfeasible to me. But
yeah, like it's one of those things where it's just like they just figure, oh, this robot can do your job, so we'll just get the robot to do it. And it's a thing where it's not going to have the same. It's not going to be able to do the same work you do. It's not going to have the same heart. It's just going to be like a crappier version of the great product that a lot of great writers can do. And I think a lot of studios are hoping on the fact that the general audience will be okay with a crappier product, if it means like their stuff gets put out quicker, which I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's so distressing just to see the reactions of some people who are just like, oh, the writers are just being greedy. They have more money than. And I hate it when like people speak authoritatively on like how much money somebody else has, because it's like you might think you don't know.
Yeah, like if you work for some reason, like a lot of people, especially people who don't know the industry, they sort of think that if you're on a TV show or you're working on a movie, you've made it. You're raking in millions upon millions of dollars, and that is not true at all. We both know many people, many comedians who have been on TV, still got roommates, still trying to make ends meet.
Hmm.
Like, TV doesn't have that cachet you think it does, good sir.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, the truth is, like, until you become like a star, like somebody who opens movies or is headlining a TV or show or something, you're probably struggling. I mean, I was reading recently that I think the standard rate for guest actors on like a TV show or a sitcom or something like that is like $4,000, which
Jesus.
you can run through that pretty quickly with just life stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if you live in New York or LA, the two cities, or the two cities rather, that you need to live in if you want to be in this industry, yeah, 4,000 ain't much. Because guess what? Both of those cities very expensive to live in.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, while we're not happy to see the strike come through, we totally understand the reasons. We totally support it. And hey,
Mhm.
if that means that this season of SNL is cut short, which it looks like it is,
Yeah, I believe
then
I think they officially said that the season is a wrap.
oh, okay. I had not read that confirmation, but I kind of figured because SNL they did actually release the who the hosts and the musical guests were going to be for the last two shows of the season, and they booked some pretty cool people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We were going to have Kieran Culkin uh, from Succession.
Yeah, making a return appearance.
Yeah, and yeah, he's hosted once. He's cameoed at least once. He was in that little Father of the Bride sketch when Steve Martin and Martin Short hosted.
Yeah, Steve Martin Short.
And he was coming back, and I assume he lives in the city. So,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he lives in, like, I would say Brooklyn if I had to guess, but I'm pretty sure he lives in Manhattan.
and the musical guest for that episode was going to be Labyrinth, who we talked about this before we started recording. Neither one of us is familiar with Labyrinth.
It sounds like an '80s Euro pop band from back in the day. It sounds
I mean,
like
that seems logical to me. So let's just assume that's what they are.
it's like, hello, we are Labyrinth. We are here to.
Yeah, I'm seeing somebody with a keytar.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
We are here to blow your mind with
yeah.
sound.
They're like if you watched How I Met Your Mother. Do you remember the architectural firm Sven?
Oh my god, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing the band Labyrinth as being like.
How could I forget Sven? I have their poster on my wall.
Yeah, just like lots of long, bushy, bleach blonde hair, sunglasses, wearing all the time indoors.
Yes. Monochromatic colors they're dressed in all
Yes,
the time.
maybe an unnecessary umlaut in the
Yeah.
band name. They don't seem to have that in the Variety article I have open, but in my mind, in my heart, they have an umlaut.
Yes. We are Labyrinth. We are here to rock you with our music and sounds.
Yeah, and then for the season finale, they were going to have Jennifer Coolidge from The
Mm.
White Lotus and musical guests the Foo Fighters, and oh, that leaves a mark.
That's the one that hurts. I mean, Kieran Culkin, yeah, that I'm a little bummed out about that but he's
Yeah,
hosted
but he'll
before.
he'll he'll host again.
Yeah, like he's been on the show before, and I actually enjoyed his episode quite a bit.
Yeah, he did a
Jen,
good job, as I recall.
yeah. Jennifer Coolidge, oof. I'm because like that's a host like a lot of people in the SNL fandom have been really, really wanting to be on the show for a while. In fact,
Uh huh.
we just missed her. It's like, damn it. And like I don't know, I feel like she would have knocked it out the park too. Like she could probably get into her history about how she auditioned for SNL, didn't get it. And she could bring in her, sort of her improv tales and things that she's done on Christopher Guest movies, and like I really, yeah, that one stings. That one
I mean,
stings.
I think she would have done a good job, and I am sure as the show is wont to do, they will bring her back to host next season, whenever next season ends up starting. But what I was saying when that leaves a mark is Foo Fighters as a musical guest. I mean, come
Yeah, and this would be like the first probably televised performance after the loss of their drummer Taylor Hawkins, and that
on. Hmm.
that they have a new album coming out that I'm sure is dedicated to him, and
I
that's
didn't realize that. Wow.
yeah, I think they just put out a new single, like it's on it's out
Have they,
streaming
have they
now.
gotten a new drummer, or is it just Dave Grohl taking over the drumming, or what are they doing?
I don't know, like
Huh.
I mean, if I had assumed, I would say they got a new drummer, but I definitely know they have a new album coming out this year, and so this would be their big televised. You know, not including that big concert they did, the Taylor Hawkins, memorial benefit concert they did.
Right.
Uh, but
Right.
yeah, like I really wanted to see them perform
I
live. I mean,
mean, that would have been really ending the season on the high. I'm sure they would have blown the roof off the joint, and I mean, they never disappoint.
no, not at all. But
So,
you
well,
know,
yeah. Sorry, we won't see those episodes in that form, but I am sure that everybody is going to come back at some point or another. So,
right, exactly. So yeah, it looks like SNL will be dark for a while. So I mean, what does that mean for us on this little podcast? You may say to yourself, what are the SNL nerds going to do?
I
Well,
ask myself that question every day, Darren.
what in God's name are we gonna do?
What it's A, what are we doing? B, what are we going to do?
Yes, I say that to myself, and I just run around in a circle screaming, pulling my hair out.
Yeah, there's a little throwing of my own feces.
Yes,
It's it's a whole thing. It's a whole production.
yes.
I can't get into it right now, but
I jump on the couch, I beat my chest,
yeah,
I scream in terror, I cry, I pee.
yeah. There's some Samsonite luggage there for some
Oh
reason.
my god, we have to we devolve into to just chimpanzees.
Right.
Just wow, yeah, it's bad.
Uh,
Uh,
so
but
anyway, what are we gonna do?
well, I mean, I think we're gonna probably do the same movie reviews we've been doing, and we'll probably maybe expand out to bigger things. Maybe we haven't had an interview in a while. Maybe you'll hear more interviews on the
Yeah,
podcast.
I'd like to interview more people involved with the show who've worked on the show in some capacity, whether that means cast members or crew members.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of cast and crew members and writers got a lot of time on their hands right now. So
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So we could maybe reach out to some people and find out. Um, for this episode, we just, because it was the easiest thing to do on short notice, we just decided to do another SNL movie. Oh, by the way, we are going to do our usual season ending wrap up episode. We just had to kind of figure out when we're going to do that and
yeah,
who we're going to have on for that. So, but
yeah,
that is still coming.
it will happen. Don't you worry your pretty little heads out there, listeners. It will happen
Yeah.
by hook or by crook. It will happen.
Yes, yes. But for this week, we decided to do another movie starring an SNL alum, and it is 2012's Celeste and Jesse Forever, starring Rashida Jones and Andy Samberg.
Yes, Celeste and Jesse Forever, directed by Lee Toland Krieger, who I think he did like a few indie movies before this, but it looks like he directs mostly TV shows now. Like I did a few episodes of You and Riverdale. Okay.
Okay.
Superman and Lois. Oh, that's cool.
Huh.
Film
That's
was
an interesting pivot.
yeah. Hey, check's a check, man. This film was written by Rashida Jones and Will McCormick.
Hmm.
Came out August 3rd, 2012. Had a budget of $840,000. Made 3.6 mil. Ooh,
Wow, that's a lower budget than I would have guessed
I
for this.
can't.
You don't often hear about a movie that doesn't even have a $1 million budget. That's
Yeah, like, is that right? I'm
Well,
reading that.
I watched some of the behind the scene featurettes, and they did say that they didn't have a whole lot of money to spend. I think it was during a Q&A, and they were asked like how much improv is in this movie, and they were like, well, we had to shoot the script, and we didn't have a whole lot of money, so no, we didn't do a whole lot of improv.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like in hindsight, yeah, I guess that's about right. It didn't look very high budget. There weren't like a lot of special effects or anything like that, and there weren't.
No, it's not like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 over
Yeah,
here.
not a lot of CGI in this thing.
There's no CGI raccoons, there's no tree men, there's none of that going on.
Yeah, we even checked the behind the scenes footage. Nothing.
No. No.
Okay.
I do have the DVD here. I can read the little description on the back of the DVD so people who are not familiar with the movie can have an idea of what it is about before we dive into our discussion.
Right.
Celeste, Rashida Jones, and Jesse, Andy Samberg, are high school sweethearts who married young and are now at a crossroads at the age of 30. While Celeste is a success in business, Jesse is unemployed and adrift. Celeste thinks that if they divorce now, they could still remain friends. Jesse passively accepts the decision, even though he is still in love with her. As reality sets in, Celeste slowly and painfully realizes she has been cavalier about their relationship, and but her timing with Jesse is less than fortuitous. Dun dun dun.
Ooh,
Very
nice.
serious description.
It
Uh,
is.
it
Eh,
was. I gotta say, this movie it wasn't quite what I was expecting. You had seen it before, right?
I'd seen it years ago. I forget if I rented it on DVD or I saw it in a theater. I probably rented it. And like yeah, like when I don't know what I was expecting. Because from what I saw in the trailer, it looked pretty serious, but it
Yeah,
looked like it might have some more funny parts in it too, and it did. But it def I guess. Well, here let me. Let's break down what the movie's about. So it's like
yeah.
you said, Celeste and Jesse, Andy Samberg, Rosita Jones. They've known each other since high school. They got married young. They got
Mhm.
divorced, they get divorced. Uh, in the beginning of the movie, we see like a bunch of clips from basically their lives.
It's like a montage of kind
Mon,
of happy rom-commy type moments. They're, like they're in a bookstore together and they're like spontaneously kissing, and we see their
yeah,
wedding, and they're eating cake off each other's fingers, and it all looks so lovely.
yeah. But then we also see the turn where they're having, dinner with friends, and Rashida Jones's character Celeste is upset, and then we see them getting into arguments, and then we also see the deterioration of their marriage. And then cut to the beginning of the movie where they're still hanging out with friends and they're still hanging out together because even though they're been separated for 6 months, they still are friends or they're still
They're
trying to
still
be.
best friends.
They're
Yeah.
still best friends, and they still live not in the same house, but Jesse lives in the studio behind their house, which
Yeah, like the guest house,
the
basically.
guest house.
Yeah.
That house is huge. Like I was trying to think, like what do they do for it? This house is beautiful. It's a really nice looking house.
Well, I mean, the movie makes it clear that Celeste is successful in her career, and it's kind of a white collar occupation. Well, I mean, she's at like this startup with Elijah Wood, not Elijah Wood the actor, but Elijah Wood playing her friend, whose character name I don't remember right now, but
Scott.
Scott. So she has this business with her friend Scott, and they do a lot of, I think, public relations type stuff. So I can see that being a lucrative occupation.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think because like I really didn't know what she did and for a while, but then like they said she's like an author and she's a trend forecaster.
Right, which doesn't help. It's like, yeah, I still don't know what that is.
I mean that
Um,
that just sounds like influencer to me. It's
yeah,
like
but she meets a guy at one point during the movie, and she's kind of like, oh well, you used to have a Porsche, but you drive an Audi because you thought the market was going to crash, and uh, you're taking a yoga class because you spent all your weekends drinking for 10 years, and now you want to do something more soulful. And I guess that is supposed to show like the sort of thing she does. I guess she's I think she's supposed to be like a type of person who's like, oh, this thing is done. This is the next big trend. And she sort of anticipates what the next trend is. And then they can kind of use that information to help their clients.
I think so. Yeah, like because like halfway through the movie they say that she's also like a partner in a marketing company, Popform. So like all right, so she's like
Right.
the
That's
found.
her day job. And her book, we get the feeling her book isn't very successful because in an early scene, we see her in a bookstore and it's not even shelved with like the new releases. And she like
Yeah.
takes a couple off the shelf and puts them in the employee pick section.
Yes, of course.
Which
But
which
yeah,
I used to work in a bookstore. Don't do that, please.
don't, no employees pick this book. Don't.
That's not cool.
Yeah,
Don't
don't.
don't rearrange your things. And in a corporate bookstore like a Barnes and Noble or whatever other corporate bookstore still exists.
Barnes and
Yeah,
Noble's the only one.
yeah, it probably is.
What Borders you're thinking about?
Well, is Borders still around? Borders
Yeah,
went out of business, right?
yeah, I know. I'm just thinking about all the defunct bookstores like
Well,
Walden.
anyway, that stuff is the placement of that stuff is like corporately dictated.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying.
B. Dalton.
Right.
Uh, but yeah,
Walden Books. I mean, I
Walden
could have
Books.
said Walden Books, but I know Walden Books isn't around anymore.
Yeah,
So
but it's just fun to name stores that aren't around anymore. Favor,
I guess so. Yes.
I guess. Buster Brown. Okay. Okay.
Not a bookstore.
Whatever, man.
Pale as shoes. See, I can do it too.
Yeah, it's fun. KB Toy Store.
Toys R Us.
Woolworth.
Kmart.
Electronic Boutique.
Our economy sucks.
Sam Goody. Okay.
I'm depressed now.
It's all meaningless. Oh.
Celeste seems to be doing okay for herself, even though her book's not doing so hot.
Right. And Jesse is a guy who's he's a bit of a slacker. He's an artist, he's an illustrator, but
Right.
and
It's very vague about what his occupation is and what sort of stuff he's trying to get.
yeah, like he's basically like artist. They just like, "Oh, you just do art."
Yeah.
And yeah, and they're still friends. They're still best friends. Their friends think it's weird that they're divorcing and they've been separated, but they still hang out together and they still,
Like literally every day.
yeah, that is kind of weird. I will admit.
That is weird. It's like if you're still hanging out together every day, why couldn't you work out your marriage?
Yeah,
But
yeah, kind of wish they would have filled that out a little bit more. But yeah, it's like a thing where Jesse is still kind of hung up on Celeste, but at the same time, Jesse's still kind of seeing a few other people on the side here or there. Like him and his friend Skills with a Z, who is like the sort of the comedic relief, frat
was
bro.
that his name? I
Yeah,
missed that his name was Skills.
yep, that's Will McCormick who co-wrote the movie.
I knew it was Will McCormick. I missed that the character name was Skills.
S
Okay,
S
that's
K I L L Z
okay.
Skills. But yeah, he's like, the wacky best friend is all about, smoking weed and getting vagina and what
Yep.
have you. Just, insert wacky best friend here. You know the stereotype.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and like he's able to get Jesse a date with the yogurt girl at the place at the stand, and also Jesse mentions like he hooked up with this girl Veronica a number of months ago, but he didn't
Like
tell.
3 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't tell Celeste because he didn't want to make it weird. So I don't know. They're both in
Yeah.
this. They're both
He hooked up with this girl after he and Celeste had separated.
right.
They've been
Yes.
separated for 6 months as the movie begins.
Right. So
So he was not cheating on Celeste. I
right.
just want to make
Exactly.
that clear.
Yes. So like 3 months into them separating, he got some, as the boys say.
Yeah, yeah, he had a hookup.
Yeah. Uh.
Um, and then like when they're at that bookstore, um, Jesse runs into Veronica again,
Right.
and the movie doesn't delve into that much more until like a few scenes later, and then we find out that Jesse tells Celeste, "Hey, uh, you remember that girl Veronica that I introduced you to that we met in passing at that bookstore? She's pregnant."
Yeah. That was a left turn.
Yeah, the movie really takes a turn at that point, and I was like, "Oh, this is so not the movie I was expecting it to be." Because I thought from the description, and I don't even remember if I watched the trailer before I watched this thing. If I watched the trailer, it was like months ago, and I only vaguely remembered it.
Right.
I was expecting this to be a movie about a couple who have separated and then sort of over the course of the movie fall back in love with each other.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. I kind of thought that too, just because the name of the movie is Celeste and Jesse Forever.
Yes.
And but then again, that could mean anything or whatever. But yeah,
True. Yeah. Yeah.
but
And also, it's a romantic comedy. You kind of expect the couple to be a couple
yeah,
by the end of everything.
yeah. I mean, there's even a scene before Jesse tells Celeste that he's going to be a dad, where Celeste calls Jesse over to help her fix some IKEA furniture, and
Yeah.
they get drunk on wine and they bone. So like
Yeah, it's very rom-commy.
yeah, but then like when they wake up the next morning, like he's all into it, and she's like, "No, this was a mistake. We shouldn't have done this. We're
Yeah.
divorcing." And then he gets all
And he takes it hard.
yeah, he gets all miffed and leaves. And then like she has to leave, like she has to travel for work, and she tries to call him, and she lets all the messages go straight to voicemail.
They don't talk for a few weeks.
Right, but like during that time, Jesse's talking to Veronica again, who's a very beautiful woman. Like it's weird, like
Yeah.
how Veronica is into this, unemployed fella, but all right. And
Well, it's Andy Samberg, so he's very charming,
he is.
I suppose.
He's got the dimple chin. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah, and he's still got a bit of that bedhead thing going on, so yeah,
Mhm.
why not?
You know what? You're right. And
I didn't. I was able to go with that.
yeah, okay, but yeah. So then when she tries to call him, he doesn't answer back, and that's when she gets back home, that's when they have to talk. And
Yeah,
she's Andy Jesse tells her like, yeah, I'm gonna be a dad, and that kind of sends her spiraling a bit. And like that's this is the other thing I really didn't see about this movie. It really kind of becomes more about Celeste than it does Jesse. Like Celeste becomes what I mean. That's probably that makes sense because Rashida Jones co-wrote this, but like
right.
Celeste's character really is kind of the focus of the movie from
She
this point
is,
on.
she is, and for the longest time, I was thinking of this movie as Jesse and Celeste forever, just because that version of the title, rolls off the tongue better for me.
Right.
But then, like when we decided to actually do this, I was like, "Oh no, it's actually Celeste and Jesse." I was misremembering it, and now that I've seen the movie, it totally makes sense why Celeste can stop billing.
Right.
So,
It should just be Celeste forever. But yeah, so it is so then the rest of the movie just basically becomes about how Celeste has to deal with her ex, having a kid with another woman, and like their relationship just being, they're never gonna get back together again, or you know.
it's very Taylor Swift. Yes,
Yeah. Oh, look at you knowing Taylor Swift songs.
I know that. I know that song. That's a super catchy song, and also, who was it that did the cover of that?
I don't know. I don't. I listen to.
Jimmy Eats World.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They did a great cover of "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together," which I like better than the original, honestly, because they gave it like this sort of spooky quality to it. Check
Oh,
that out if you haven't
they
seen that.
they
Um,
spookified it. Nice. Okay.
yeah. So anyway, so yeah, the focus is largely on Celeste, and and I'm sure that was very intentional because most movies they focus on the dude.
Yeah. Like almost like this is almost kind of like a reverse, like knocked up a little bit, where like
Hmm.
Andy Samberg's character is like the guy who knocked up the girl, but this movie kind of focuses on maybe his other girl rather than him, which I don't know. I thought it was
Yeah, I can
interesting.
see that.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. But yeah, then we focus on Celeste and her trying to kind of get on with her life and deal with all this. We see her dating all these other dudes. She dates a Gap model. She dates some another guy, a photographer, who makes out with her at a hotel, and he just wants to like jerk off on her
Yeah,
while she's on
they're in
top.
the middle of this makeout session on the couch, and you're like, oh well, this is going well. She's finding somebody else, and then he starts. She kind of stops and goes, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "What do you think I'm doing?" And he's like pulled it out, and he's going to town on himself.
Yeah,
And apparently, that is a thing that actually happened to Rashida Jones on a date
really?
once
The
upon a time.
some
Yeah,
some dude did the five knuckle shuffle.
apparently, all the disastrous dates that Celeste goes on in this movie are drawn from life, either Rashida Jones's life or her co-writer's life. But yeah, that story is true.
That is, but I don't understand. See, that part I don't understand because like the woman right there who will have probably let you have sex with her. Why are you gonna
I
do all?
don't know. Was he trying to like get something started, or was that just his fetish or something?
I I
I
guess
don't know. But
I,
anyway, it's a rather funny scene because we see her just sort of slip out from underneath him and leave him to be on the couch.
yes, he the man climaxes alone.
Yeah, which
The loneliest
I
climax.
don't really get it, but
Yeah, we're
you
not.
do you. Just get consent, get your partner's consent, even though they're not technically your partner.
Yeah, we're not here to yuck anybody's yum, but just
No,
before you stick your hand down your pants and beat off, just ask if the other if it's like, may I do this?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and not in like a Louis C.K. way either.
Oh,
Don't
I wasn't even gonna say it.
don't be it like where there's that power disparity and they feel obligated to say yes even though they really don't want you to.
I
Um,
I wasn't even gonna bring his name up, but here we are.
well, I'm just saying I just want to cover the bases because I know our listeners come to us for these things.
Exactly. They're like, where do I go to find out what is and isn't okay, cool to do with a woman? I know the SNL Nerds podcast.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, really, we are the only option.
Yep, we're it.
Yep.
The buck stops here.
So anyway, yeah, Celeste is having a tough time in the dating world, and yeah, and Andy Samberg's character Jesse, he kind of, I don't want to say disappears for long stretches of the movie because he is in the movie throughout the movie, but yeah, the focus is definitely more on Celeste, and we really don't ever get to know the character Veronica at all.
Not really. No, she's just it's just a random pretty woman. Like we learn she's from Belgium, but that's pretty
Hmm.
much. And we only learned that because Jesse asks Celeste to asks to meet up with Celeste, and they meet up at some like very high end vegan restaurant. We find out that Jesse is going vegan now. He's actually exercising more, and He's basically becoming a better person, becoming more fit, and
He's growing up a bit because of the
yeah,
upcoming kid and all that. Yeah,
exactly. Like
yeah,
having a baby basically, forced him into maturity.
yeah, yeah. You know, Jesse, the whole movie 9 months is playing out on his end,
Exactly.
and yeah, and so Celeste is feeling like, oh wow, I think I really missed the boat here because he had this in him, he had this potential, and I didn't help him to see that, or I didn't. Yeah,
Right. Well, I mean, they kind of get into that a little bit later when they get into that big fight in the street, where basically like Rashida Jones or Celeste calls him out saying like, now you're exercising and you're doing better, and like, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you change for me? Why didn't you do that for me? Like I was
yeah,
rooting for you to do this, and I paid for all this, shit just to make you sure you get on your feet. But then Jesse comes back saying, well, I kind of think you didn't want me to be better because I think you kind of like me being like, below you, and not that way, but as
yeah,
not as powerful as you in a way.
yeah. Which,
Mm.
I mean, I think, and from what we see in the movie, there's truth to both of those perspectives. So
There
yeah,
is. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like we see a few scenes where Celeste can be a little kind of I guess controlling or
yeah,
judgmental about other people. Like there's that through line with one of their new clients, the Riley, the pop singer. What?
yeah. It's Emma Roberts plays this young ingenue type pop singer. I guess somebody in like the Britney Spears sort of vein.
Yeah, Riley Banks. She kind of it's like a Britney Spears Kesha type.
Yeah, yeah, and and they take her on as a client like right after Celeste in a televised interview like decries her as like this vapid, shallow example of everything that's wrong.
Right.
Like and as soon as she was like, oh, we can, we can't have dumb pop stars like Riley, what's her face, and as soon as they said like an obviously fake name, I was like, oh well, obviously that's going to be a character in this movie. So
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
yeah, so and sure enough, yes,
Absolutely. Yeah, like for a part of me, I thought that storyline kind of like, oh, is this kind of going somewhere? It's not really necessary. But then again, now that I'm thinking about it, it might be necessary to sort of show Celeste's maybe growth as a person, and maybe not to be as judgmental of others or judging books by their covers as she kind of is. So I was like, all right, I guess
Um,
this.
yeah, yeah, and also, I mean, I think it gives you a way to space out the Jesse and Celeste scenes some, so it's not just all about their relationship. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. That's true too. Yeah. So there's also like I said, there was a scene where Jesse and Celeste meet up at this vegan place. Jesse says, "Hey, uh, I've noticed, I heard that like things on with this divorce that's going through that you need to like sign a few things so this divorce can be finalized, so
right.
I can marry Veronica.
Because
Because I
Veronica is not an American citizen.
yes, she is Belgian.
Yes, so
So yes,
so Jesse really wants to move it along, and Celeste is kind of dragging her feet on that.
yeah, and as Celeste, being judgmental, thinks kind of lashes back out at him. She thinks that he's doing all this whole thing all wrong. Because he's having a baby with a woman. He barely knows, and like this whole thing's gonna blow up in his face, type of thing. And of course she's projecting, and of course she gets more and more bummed out about it. She goes to a Halloween party with some friends, and she wants to get totally smashed and smoking dope, as it were. Crystalia is at this party, which oh,
Was he? I missed him there.
how'd you miss him? He was like right there.
I guess I was looking away from the screen or something, or I didn't
Okay.
recognize him. I don't know.
All right, but yeah, Crystalia is in this Halloween party with Rashida Jones and a bunch of other people. He's like kind of dressed as Snow White, but like he's just
Oh,
has like
that's Crystalia. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't recognize him then.
yeah. Look, so yeah, that's that he's there.
Which is weird because I was a fan of Undateable. I thought that was a great show.
Oh yeah, I think I saw like a few episodes. I didn't follow it, but
It was a funny show, especially after they went live.
hmm, all right, all right. I'll take your word for that. Um, yeah. So and also at this party, Celeste runs into this guy, Paul. This guy Paul who hits on her at yoga class, and he runs into her
Right, and
again.
he's the guy that she is reading earlier in the movie, where it's like, oh, you used to drive a Porsche, now you have an Audi, and blah 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 blah. So
Right, exactly. And of course, he's charming enough and handsome enough. We all kind of know he's going to be like the rebound guy in these like kind of rom-comish type of movies. Like, all right, he's the guy. He seems okay. I think he's going to be like the new love interest in this film.
yeah,
And that guy's played. Chris Messina. He's like one of those guys that's been in a bunch of stuff too.
yeah,
Yeah, he was like in the newsroom, Sharp Objects, Damages, 6 Feet Under. I remember him being in that. But yeah,
cool.
he's a solid actor. He does some good stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So as Celeste, gets more and more and despondent about the whole situation with her and Jesse, she drops off a bunch of Jesse's stuff at his house. I think she goes through his trash at one point, and she accidentally falls into the trash because she dropped the bracelet. And of course, that's the moment where Jesse and Veronica pull up, and now she looks all embarrassed because she's rooting through his trash and whatnot. Which, not the best look, one would say.
No, no, not the best. Um,
Yeah.
and well, what else?
Well, I mean,
I don't want to jump right to the ending, but I'm not sure what else we can say before jumping to the ending.
yeah, that's the thing about this movie. There's not I mean, there's no real like kind of through line. It just kind of goes
I
through.
mean, it's not as plot heavy as the typical rom com sort of thing. It's a little more free flowing, and it's more of a character piece, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we see Celeste finally going out on a date with Paul. Paul takes Celeste to on a pretty cool date. They get massages, real
Hmm.
nice and fancy, and then they also go to this really cool nightclub spot where there's like fire breathers and they do like salsa dancing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and she seems to be hitting it off with the new guy. So
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's going well as dates go.
Absolutely, as you do. But then, like, Jesse, I think, shows up at her house again because he's freaking out about being a father and having a kid.
Hmm.
Um, and then, wait, wait. And but yeah, like there's still like between the two of them, there's still like a lot of resistance of making a clean break and just really letting this go. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the big scene, which I mentioned earlier, where that really kind of sets thing off is when the two of them meet at this bar, and Celeste wants to get back with him because, like, I think at one point, like, Jesse meets up with Celeste at her house, and he's freaking out, and she consoles him, and they end up kissing, and she said, no, we can't do it, and but they still hug each other, and then
For
you
a really long time. It's a long hug.
long hug. And he
Yeah.
said something to the effect of, I can't believe I'm about to have a kid and it's not with you. And that
Yeah.
really fucks her up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And she spirals a bit. Um,
she does. She does.
we see her drinking to excess. We see her smoking pot with what was that guy's name? Styles, Skills.
Skills, baby.
Yeah.
Skills, y'all. With the
Um,
Z. With the Z.
and yeah, and she's not doing so hot.
Yeah. So then that's when they meet at the bar. And she says, yeah, I know you know, I've made a lot of mistakes in our relationship, and I take responsibility for that. But I think we work best together. If you think you know, we have a chance together, I would like to have you back. And then he says no, and then that's when they have the huge fight about, like, basically why they broke up, because she was successful and he wasn't growing. He wasn't growing up, and
Right.
maybe she wanted him to keep him in that sort of arrested development stage, so she could feel bigger and
They're
better than him.
Brenda and Eddie from Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
Oh wow, I never thought of that.
I just realized that. Yeah.
Bottle of red, bottle of white.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Dude, you're blowing my mind. You think
That's
I'm
that's
joking, but I am
that's
not.
all I can say about Brenda and Eddie. I can't tell you more because I told you already. Here we are saying Brenda and Eddie goodbye.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, good times.
Anyway, I mean, and that's the point in most other movies where they would get back together. But I mean, because it's more of a real life sort of thing, and we have a pregnant person involved. um, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
All right, so yeah, so Celeste is in a bad place. She's smoking weed with Skills, smoking out of bongs, she's doing bong rips.
A big old bong. It's like one of
Woo!
those 2-3 feet bongs, which that seems like a serious bong. I am not a
Yeah.
pot smoker, but that seems like a serious bong.
The bong's as high as an elephant's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and of course, the next scene we see her at her friend Beth and Tucker's engagement party in their backyard, and of course, she's a goddamn mess, wearing sunglasses, putting ranch dressing on burgers,
Yeah.
just stoned out of her gourd. It's not a good look.
No. But
Yeah.
because it's Rashida Jones, it is still kind of a good look. I mean,
Yeah. Like
let's be real. I mean, come on. Rashida Jones, she is charming. She's enchanting. She is a beautiful land mermaid.
exactly. Like, dude, I do not think like any guy would see Rashida Jones with sunglasses and pouring ranch dressing on a burger and be like, oh, I gotta stay away from that. No, no,
No, no.
you walk towards that.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, hey, mama, you like ranch, huh?
Is she married? I don't even remember.
If I'm not mistaken, last I heard, I think she definitely had a kid with
Okay.
the lead singer of Vampire Weekend.
I knew she was involved with yeah, the Vampire Weekend guy. I couldn't remember if it was the lead singer or not, but I knew she was with somebody in that band.
Yeah, it's the lead singer. It's Rashida Jones. She's not gonna get with the drummer.
And I know she actually dated Colin Jost at some point. Yeah.
Damn, Jost. Wow.
Um,
This
so
my respect for Colin Jost just grows and grows. My man.
Well, I'm sure he's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, he is. I'm just a kid. Well done, Juice. Well done. Brava.
You're really impressed that he pulled Rashida Jones, right?
I'm gonna stand up and applaud right now
Okay.
in this closet.
All right. Well,
Where were we?
well, Celeste is kind of a mess at the engagement party.
Right.
We see her at one point. She's like floating on one of those pool.
Pool
Uh,
floaties.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's trying to get her life together. Actually she also makes friends with Riley too, because Riley's boyfriend dumped her and he was a jerk. So like they kind of
Yeah.
have.
I thought that was cool how they had the two of them sort of become friendly, because like she's leaving a message on Riley's voicemail, because they had a big crisis, because the new logo that they worked out for Riley, they discover way too late that part of the design elements look like a penis going into a butt.
Yeah. It was by accident, but like part of me thought like, how can that be a problem? I thought like, is this rock and roll or is it not?
Well,
That's
I
cool,
think
ain't
the
it?
problem is supposed to be that she was sort of that early Britney Spears sort of innocent teeny bopper type of thing. So it was so
Oh,
not the audience, and they show at one point a mother on the news objecting to it, and it's like, well, is this what we're selling our children?
but no,
And
but see, I didn't get that. I thought she was like more of the dangerous, provocative, like Kesha type, like oh, I
I don't
smoke and I'd
I
have
don't think so. But well, anyway. Um, so anyway, this is a big crisis, and Celeste calls Riley about it, and she's like, hey, we feel horrible about this and blah blah blah. And then her friend comes over, and then she starts bad mouthing Riley, but then she realizes that way too late that her phone is still recording the message.
oops.
So all that's been on. So then she goes to Riley's place to kind of talk to her about it, and hopefully make amends.
Right.
And
And that's when we
and
learn.
Riley's in a bad way because her boyfriend just dumped her. And
Yeah. But then they bond over that and it like becomes
yeah,
lovely. And by the way, side note, it was kind of cool to see old 2012 iPhones in this movie.
yeah,
Or I
yeah.
mean, like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that interface. Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's crazy. Yeah. So then at
They
this
didn't
point,
look that out of date for me because I have a super old iPhone myself.
oh,
So
yikes! This is embarrassing.
yeah, well, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But
I am due for an upgrade, but I've had other things going on, so
hey, whatever, man. It still works. It still make calls. That's all you need.
it still works. I need to get a new case for it. The case is falling apart, but yeah,
Oh dear.
the phone itself still works fine.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's all that matters, man. That's all that
Hmm.
matters, baby.
Yep.
Don't give Big Apple more of your money. Just get the old thing fixed up at the Apple store, and you're good to go.
That's my plan.
Far out. Far out. So at this point in the movie, it's getting towards the end. We see Celeste making her way from L.A. to Rhode Island to go to her friend Beth and Tucker's wedding.
Yeah.
She's the maid of honor, and and she gets on a plane and goes all this way, and then the wedding goes off without a hitch, as they get hitched. Haha.
Hmm.
And then at of course, the reception, we have Celeste making her big speech as the maid of honor. And I do like the little joke that she started out with, like, "How do you get a nun pregnant? You fucker." And
And
like
we hear one person laughing off screen, and she says, like, "Thank you, Father." That was very funny.
that was pretty funny. The Reverend's got a sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, "Ha ha, you fucker, father."
And she gives this speech where it's, she's very happy for her friends, but the it has that undercurrent of regret that her relationship with Jesse didn't work out the way it should. Because like they were all in high school together, and they're
Right.
the other couple is the couple that worked out, and yeah.
And well, for now. But yeah. Oh jeez, I'm status.
Wow.
Hey man, I'm just telling it like it is.
Can't you just wish them well, Darren? Come on.
Yeah, I get
Where's the love?
it. Where is the love?
It's that guy who's been on the CSI show forever and was in the Dumb and Dumber sequel where he played the Jim Carrey character.
Oh yeah, that
There,
dude.
Christian Olsen.
Yeah, I think
And,
he was also in I feel like he was in 500 Days of Summer too.
yeah, I think he is one of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's friends in 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, that movie's awesome.
It's a good movie. Yeah,
Yeah, that actor's name Eric Christian Olsen.
yeah, yeah. The name I said a minute ago.
Yes, that was it
Yes.
exactly. But yeah, so it's like you said, it's like this really beautiful speech, has tings of regret in it,
Hmm.
but it went well, and we slowly start to see Celeste being able to let go of Jesse
Yeah,
a
and
little bit.
Jesse approaches her a little later at the reception, and kind of breaks the ice, and he's like, "Well, we need to talk about Tucker's dancing. Tucker is the groom, and he's got bad moves on the dance floor."
Oh, it's the worst.
And they kind of reprise a private joke that we see earlier in the movie where they're squeezing out the lip balm. They've got the little uh, tube of the lip balm, and
Yeah,
they like to pretend that it's a penis, and they're
they-
jacking it off.
yeah, it's hilarious.
It is a cute joke.
It is.
Come on.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the kind of private joke that you strive for.
it looks like a penis. It's
Yeah,
hilarious. Get it?
and we can just pretend and run our fingers up and down it, and then finally, like, it bursts out with the Vaseline, and
like a penis when
yeah,
Vaseline comes out. You know,
yes,
when Vaseline comes out your penis.
right.
Exactly.
I think you should see someone about that, Darren.
You know, God, all right, fine.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Fine.
I'm just saying. I am like 98% certain that's not normal.
You know what? It is. My toilet is starting to look like I don't know what. So yeah, maybe I should.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for not finishing that analogy.
I just couldn't think of anything.
I was like,
What
well,
if
where's he going with this? Okay,
I don't know?
all right.
So
Anyway, yeah. So they reprise that little private joke, and they're a little better.
yeah, they're a little better. When Celeste goes back home to LA, she starts hanging out with Riley at clubs. Starts dating Paul more and more.
Yeah,
But at one point she's like, "Hey, I think I need to be by myself for a little bit. I think I need to get this divorce done by myself, and it's something I
yeah.
can do alone."
And we see Celeste and Jesse at their lawyer's office, and they're signing the divorce papers. And even after they've signed the divorce papers, they're kind of joking with each other, and they still have that rapport.
Right.
And their lawyers are honestly a little weirded out by it. They're like, "Aren't you? Didn't you just get divorced?"
It is weird,
Yeah,
right? It's weird.
yeah. It's cool, but it's weird.
Yeah. But that's basically the movie. It's pretty short, not too much to say about it.
Yeah, I was again. It was not really the movie I was expecting. I was expecting. Look, after the last couple shows we did, I said to Darren, I was like, I don't really care what we watch. I just want it to be something good because we've done like 2 weeks in a row that were bad or disappointing movies, and I feel like we've earned the right to watch something good. And I was like, this looks pretty good, and I've watched some of the interviews that. Andy Samberg and Rashida Jones did for this, and they seem to have a nice chemistry. I bet this will be fun, and not quite the movie I was expecting. It's a little bit of a downer.
Little bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that too. Like I don't know, I guess part of me thought, well, maybe we needed to see more of like the history of Celeste and Jesse just so we could be more invested in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was it, just to see like like they told us basically why they broke up. But I don't know. Part of me felt like I needed to maybe see that.
You wanted
Maybe,
them to show, not tell.
yeah, yeah. And I don't
Yeah.
know. Like another thing, what did you think of the chemistry, the on-screen chemistry between Celeste and Jesse? Do you think it was there or no?
Between Samberg and Rashida Jones,
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought they had a nice chemistry. Like I said, I was responding to their chemistry in interviews, and I thought, and it was really interesting. I thought to see Andy Samberg in much more of a dramatic role, much more of a straight role than we usually see him in, because we see him in a lot of goofy stuff, even in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he had the occasional serious moment. Uh, I mean, this is the straightest thing I've ever seen him in. So I thought he did a really good job with it. I thought he acquitted himself well. So I like the movie. If I'd known a little more of what the movie was, I don't know if I would have picked the movie for this week. But
Oh, okay, got it.
just
Um,
just because like I feel like it's a good movie that I saw at the wrong time. You know,
yeah, I could see that. I
I
mean, this
wanted
is
something a little more uplifting, and I didn't
right.
quite get it.
Didn't quite get there.
But hey, I'm so glad I saw it, and it's well done. I just didn't respond to it as strongly as I might have under other circumstances. You know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, this is like probably. I think you're right. It's probably like the first serious thing that Andy Samberg did because he's mostly known for goofy comedy guy. Like, I mean,
Right.
I'm assuming you probably maybe thought it would be a little bit more like Palm Springs or something like that, like another movie we talked about on this podcast. That was great. Uh,
Um, I mean, not exactly like Palm Springs, but I don't know. I think I was just expecting a slightly more standard rom com, and I love that it wasn't.
right.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love that they were breaking the standard rules of rom coms, and we don't have enough movies about people dealing with breakups. I mean, it's like this, Swingers, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and that's pretty much it.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
I think we need more movies about how to navigate being without someone, or how to be alone. I think that would be very therapeutic for people.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought this film was okay. Yeah, like the fact
Mhm.
that it focuses more on Celeste than Jesse, I thought was an interesting kind of angle to take
Yeah,
it.
I think that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I don't. I mean, I did like Andy Samberg, and I thought he was okay as a serious actor. But I don't know. I feel like Rashida Jones was a lot better. I think she was like a better. But then again, that's probably because she's been doing. She has more dramatic
Yeah, I
roles.
mean, she's more experienced at that type of style of stuff. I mean, I think
Right,
she's
right,
done, or at this point, she'd done a wider variety of stuff.
right.
Um,
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, in the behind the scenes features, Sandberg talks about how this was basically his first straight role, and he had a few moments on set where he was like, "Oh right, this is like a real scene. This isn't me just going for the joke." So yeah, it was. We see maybe a little bit of the growing pains, but
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it happens to every comedic actor. At some point, you want to try tackle a more serious, dramatic role just to, show people you got more to you. You got more dimensions to
yeah,
you, not
I
just
mean, and even just to see if you can do it.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig did it. Will Ferrell did it.
Hmm.
Robin Williams did it. Eddie Murphy. Will
Yep.
Ferrell. Like everybody does it at some point.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's very true. But yeah, overall, I thought this film was okay.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I'd give it like a solid 3 stars out of 5, I'd suppose.
Uh,
So
yeah, yeah, I'll go there. I'll go there with you.
there's one thing that perplexes me about the movie, and I was looking it up trying to get to the bottom of this. Um, Chris Pine has a cameo in this movie.
Oh yeah, I didn't see him. Where is he?
Okay, there's a scene where Jesse is with his friends. He's with Skills and the other guy, Tucker, and they're like watching a little league baseball game or something.
A
And
little
there's this bearded guy in sunglasses who's sitting next to them. And at one
right.
point they're like, "Oh, hey, Skills, who's your friend?" And he's like, "I don't know this guy. I thought one of you guys knew him." And then the guy like walks away. That's Chris Pine.
Oh shit, was
Now,
it?
I did not recognize Chris Pine because it's Chris Pine with a beard, and he wears sunglasses throughout the scene. And on the DVD, which I got from the library, there's actually a thing that says Chris Pine deleted scenes, and I was like, "What? Chris Pine was in this movie?" And then I watched this, and yeah, it's Chris Pine. Um,
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing somewhere that Chris Pine was in, but I totally forgot. And I remember that scene. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was just kind of a weird whatever scene to throw in there. It's like, oh, I
it
guess
is. It is weird. He is billed as Chris Pino, Chris with a K,
oh yeah,
and they give his character's name the name Rory Shenandoah.
nice.
So that's fun. And in the finished movie, he has no dialogue. In the deleted scenes, he makes like a pervy comment about some of the young female uh, baseball players, and all the guys are like, "Whoa, why are you doing that? That's creepy. Go away." And then he walks off, and it's like maybe a minute of deleted scenes. Um,
Oh wow,
and
all
I
right,
I googled why is Chris Pine in Celeste and Jesse. I was like, surely he's friends with somebody or he's
it's
doing it as a
gotta.
favor or something. And I could not find anything about this.
Did he
And
just
so
did he just walk onto the set while they were shooting?
maybe he did. Maybe he just wandered on. I don't know.
The
I don't know.
director was like, "Hey, that one guy is really good. Who is that?" It's like,
It
I
was
don't
also
know.
a weird reminder of like how long Chris Pine has been famous now, because I still think of him as sort of a newer celebrity, but he's been a star since like the Star Trek movie, which was like 2009,
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, that's like going on 15 years now that he's been famous. I was like, holy
uh,
crap, he's like an established star.
yeah. No, he's got grays in his beard at this point.
I know. He's wandering around looking like a BG and stuff, and
That's right. That's right. Shadow dancing.
so I am just very perplexed why Chris Pine was in this movie. I'm not mad or anything like that. I'm just like, how did this come to be?
Yeah, listeners, if anybody can tell us how the hell or why the hell Chris Pine is in this movie, just please
Yeah.
let us know. It's
Andy
kind of
Samberg or Rashida Jones, please reach out to us. Let
yeah,
us know. I'm just very curious about this.
that's
I
right.
want to. I'm sure there's an amusing anecdote behind this.
Give us the scoop, Andy Samberg. We know you
Yeah.
listen to this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Or if Elijah Wood wants to tell us, or if Eric Christian Olsen wants to tell us, Emma
exactly.
Roberts, anyone involved with this movie.
Yeah, except Chris D'Elia. Do not contact us, Chris D'Elia, please.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, man.
That's probably for the best.
I can't be in the tabloids again, man. Not again.
Have you seen that clip of Chris D'Elia where he's on some show, and I think they're talking about text messages, and he's like, "Wait, I thought text messages like automatically erased after you after you sent them," and they're
Yeah,
like, "No," and he's like, "Oh," and you just sort of see him like sort of the wheels turning.
yeah.
It's kind of very funny in retrospect. Um,
Oh, yeah. A lot of people learned a hard truth that day.
yeah, yeah.
Oh boy.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's the episode, guys.
yep.
Celeste and Jesse Forever. Not a bad film.
Yeah, decent, worth seeing. I'd say definitely worth seeing, especially if you're a fan of Rashida Jones and or Andy Samberg,
Yeah, yeah.
or
That's
uh,
or
or Chris D'Elia. If you're jonesing for Chris D'Elia material, which you're not really getting these days, yeah, check this out. You'll see him in a Snow White outfit.
yeah. I'm sure there's a fetish for that.
Yeah, if you want to see Chris Pine in turquoise in sunglasses,
Mhm. Do we
this
have
is
a
the
movie
movie
for
for
you?
you.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, so that's the episode, guys. Thanks again for listening. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. You could hit us up on our Patreon at Non-Productive.com. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
Yes, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL, and then the word comic. And but like introduce yourself or something first, because honestly, like when it's strangers are following me on Instagram, it's weird. It's fucking weird, and I end up removing most of the followers. It's weird.
Yeah, if it's like a follower that has, it's speaking in like Bulgarian and trying to get you into crypto,
It's
you
like
can.
practically everybody who follows me on Instagram that I'm not previously acquainted with, it's sketchy to some degree.
Hey, you like pretty lady?
And I
Follow me
look at
back.
their profile and I'm just like, nope, remove follower, and sometimes block them, because it's like some NFT douche or some person. And yeah, I had some weird rando woman who was like, hey there. And then like a couple days later is like ignoring me. And I was like, yes, I am, because I do not know you.
Go away, robot. Not today.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm in a mood.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the episode. Tune in again next time. Hopefully we'll have what's the next episode? We'll work on a few.
We'll figure it out. We're kind of taking this week by week. Yeah, we got some stuff going on, so yeah, we'll figure this out.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. Support the people striking right now. Support the WGA. People out there on the lines. Do what you can. We side with the talent always here at SNL Nerds. And yeah, that's it.
That's it. And yeah, we'll be back with another episode. But until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.